Welcome to this tutorial. First of all, I wanted to say thanks for purchasing this. This helps me out a lot, and I hope it'll help you out a lot. So let's just get right into it. So bring in your clip. I decided to use this clip because I think I look really good, and there's a lot of good colors in it as well. So then we'll go to our color page, and then go over to your gallery and make sure this window's open, and you click in this blank space right here and import, and then you can find your Powergrade that you just installed, import it, and it should be right here. Click on your clip right here in your clips, and then go over to the Powergrade and apply the grade. And as you can see, it copies the nodes over to here. Yeah, the image does not look the best right now, but it shouldn't look the best right now. So I made it pretty interactable, so not only can you customize it to your liking, it's also a good way to help you kind of learn color grading as well, which is a super powerful tool. So we'll open our effects right here. So this first node is our color space transform. If you don't know what this is, I recommend just shutting it off. But basically, you just match it to what you shot your video in. So I shot it in Sony S-Gamma 3 with a Sony S-Log 3 Gamma. If you don't know what that is, just feel free to turn it off, but this is what I have. So next is your curve node. Just leave this here. I just have a basic S curve. You don't really need to mess around with that unless you really want to. Okay, so this next node is our white balance. This is what's going to give it the warm or cool tones that you'd like. I'm not going to mess with that right now. Your exposure, only mess with your offset down here to increase or decrease your exposure. Halation, if you don't have studio version, I'm sorry. But here's your halation to get those nice blurred edges on the highlights. Your contrast node, only mess with this to increase and decrease your contrast. Our saturation node, it's already set to 60. You can change it if you'd like. The blur and sharpen node, this will give it kind of like that film blur, as you can see. And then our grain, film grain, this one's obvious. You can adjust these settings to your liking as well. But if you do have the free version of DaVinci, I'll link some grain overlays that you can put in the timeline above your clip to give it grain without paying for the studio version. Our look node, unless you know what you're doing with color grading, don't really mess around with this, because this is what gives it that film look. Because if we turn it off, yeah, that's basically what it's doing. It's giving it all the colors to make it look that certain way. All right, and then these 4 nodes down here, these are gonna be the nodes you want to mess with after you make these adjustments up here. So these 4 nodes only mess with how it looks after you make these adjustments, which is just white balance, primaries, and contrast and saturation. But let me lead you through how I'm going to grade this scene. So first of all, I want to mess with the contrast because there's obviously not enough contrast in this picture. So I'm just gonna bump this up a little bit till it looks good. I would say for here is a good start. All right, and then we're gonna go to our white balance node. So right here is where we make the adjustments. We want to drag this to the left to make it cooler, and this to the right to make it warmer. I think it's already like at a pretty decent spot. Maybe I could bring it up like just a little bit. Our tint, bring this to the left for more purple hues and to the right for more green. I think we could make it just a little bit more green just to have those plants stick out. Let's bring it to 10. And then this is just another way to kind of change it up a little bit. I'm just going to leave it as is because I think it looks really good right now. And we could always change it down here. All right. And then for our exposure, I think we can make it just a little bit brighter. I'm going to bring it up to here. Halation, we'll keep that. So then we'll go to our contrast. Oh wait, I already did contrast. So we'll go to our saturation. We'll keep the saturation the same up here because I think it looks pretty good. You can obviously adjust it as you wish. You know what? Let's bring it up just a little bit to 65. Blur and sharpen. Keep this here if you want it. I keep it. Grain, I'll keep my grain. It's a nice effect, as you can see. Our look, obviously, we're not gonna mess with this right now because I made it perfect. I made it just how I want it. And then, okay, so we obviously need a little bit more adjustments right now. It's looking a little bit dull, but not bad for our first adjustments. So let's go to our white balance. I only wanna mess with these two right here. So I think we can make it a little bit more warm. It's still a little cool right now, so we're gonna bring this up to, let's just say 600. Yeah, this looks really good. We can mess with our tint a little bit. Let's bring this, make it a little bit more pink. Let's bring it to 6. All right, and then we could go to our primaries. So if you don't know how primaries work, basically these 4 little color wheels are very useful if you want to really get into color grading. This lift will only affect the darker areas. Gamma affects like the mid-tone areas, like kind of like let's say like this kind of neutral area on my face. And gain affects the brighter areas of the picture. And offset is just like universal of these 3, so it kind of affects the whole thing. But I think we're good where we're at, so we're just gonna keep this as is. So our contrast, I think we could bring our contrast up more. So let's bring this to like 1.2. 1.2. Yeah, that's pretty solid. And our saturation, we already messed with it up here, so unless we want a little bit more saturation, which does look not bad. So let's bring this to 55. Yeah, so it's pretty simple because the colors were pretty good already. And yeah, there you go. DM me if you have any questions. I will try and get back to you. Or email me. I will try and get back to you. Feel free to mess around with this as much as you want. Mess around with every single node. Hopefully you can learn a little bit off of this to help you become good at color grading, because it's really fun when you get the hang of it, and you can make some really cool stuff with it. And yeah, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know what to say at the end of a video, but thanks.